Daniel, you're misunderstanding. I wasn't flirting with him. It was nothing. I'm not stupid. He was checking you out, and it seemed you were having fun. No, it wasn't like that, Daniel. Where are you going? I'm leaving. Daniel, please, don't go. Don't ruin this vacation. Daniel, where will I go? Please, don't leave me here. I don't have any money with me. After a long journey through life's ups and downs, completing his studies and building his career, Daniel Morrison is now doing well for himself, a well-settled, established man. He and his girlfriend Nicole just got married after a long 3 years relationship. And for their honeymoon, Daniel decided to return to Montauk, New York for 2 weeks, even though he had a big regret about this place. It was midday when Daniel and Nicole set off on their 4-hour drive from Manhattan to Montauk. Daniel had booked them a room beforehand and drove straight through the small beach town and parked into the driveway of a small motel sometime in the evening. We're going to stay at this motel on our honeymoon? It's not as bad as you suppose. I came here with my friends back in college. The ocean view is great and the beach is only a few minutes away. It's better than any other expensive hotel here. Okay, if you say so. After dropping off their things, Daniel and Nicole hurried off to the beach, but in just moments, the rain began to pour. Oh no, Daniel, don't tell me we're gonna have to stay inside because of the rain. You checked the weather before booking, right? I didn't, but we can always soak in the rain. At this time of the night, no restaurants were open and the motel didn't have any room service either. So the couple walked out in the rain until they found a BI-11 and bought some sandwiches for dinner. It was around 3 a.m. when Daniel made himself snug in bed. A soothing breeze flew through the window from the shore, and the weather was cool. Nicole was about to get into bed when she suddenly noticed a figure standing outside the window. She jumped up startled. Daniel, did you see that? There was something watching us outside the window. What? Watching us? Daniel got up and pulled the curtains aside, looking out onto the shore. It was deserted. There's no one here. No, I saw someone. Maybe it was the motel staff. Come on, it's been a long day. I need some rest. The couple woke up around 2 p.m. the next day. They walked out to town and had brunch before they started making plans for the day. So, what do you want to do first? Let's take the car out to the lighthouse. No, what's the fun in driving there? How about we take 2 bicycles from the motel and ride there? So Daniel and Nicole borrowed a bicycle from the hotel and rode off. However, little did Nicole realize what she had gotten herself into. It took 2 hours to get there. But as they stood by the edge of the cliff, staring at the sunset, it all seemed worth it. The weather had started to become gloomy and windy again. Nicole looked out at the swamp area just nearby. What is it, Nicole? It's nothing. Thought I heard someone. Heard someone? There's no one here for miles. After a relieving stroll, the couple returned back to town late that night. 12 miles there and 12 miles back. I can't feel my legs anymore. These are going to be memories you're going to remember forever. Painful memories. Are you hungry? I know this really good Chinese restaurant here. They have the best lobster. Then what are we waiting for? Daniel and Nicole dropped off their bicycles, after which they walked to the restaurant. However, the meal wasn't anything like they had expected, but the waiter was awfully moody, creating a scene about his tip. Why did we tip him again? He gave us a single tea bag and a Chinese kettle for exotic tea and steamed eggplants and rice. This was the great restaurant? How was I supposed to know this isn't the season for lobster? After a not-so-wonderful meal, the couple returned to the motel, plopped down on the bed and stretched out. They were so tired, they immediately dozed off. But around midnight, Daniel woke up to odd dreams, or rather, memories. He got up to get a glass of water when he stopped by the mirror. Through the corner of his eyes, he could see something in the reflection. He quickly looked, horrified to see a face he recognized. Kara? The glass dropped from his trembling hands as he turned around, but there was no one in the room but Nicole. Kara? Who's Kara? No one. I must have imagined it. Imagine who? I heard you saying Kara. Who is she? What is going on with you, Daniel? You've been behaving strange since we arrived here. It's nothing, Nicole. You're hiding something from me. I heard you saying her name. Alright, it was my ex-girlfriend. It was 10 years ago. I came here with her on vacation, but we got into a fight and I got mad and left her here. Your ex-girlfriend? This was where you used to bring your girls to have fun, and you brought me here for our honeymoon? That's why you booked this cheap hotel and took me to that cheap restaurant? Nicole, it's not like that. You're taking this in the wrong direction. I can't believe you, Daniel. Nicole turned to leave when Daniel stopped her. Where are you going? You think I would spend the night in the same room with you after this? No, Nicole, stop. If you don't want to stay together, okay, you stay here, I'll leave. After an unwanted argument, Daniel left the motel and walked out onto the shore. He sat down trying to calm himself, when he suddenly spotted someone far down the shore. It was Kara, standing there looking at him. So she was here. When they caught each other's gaze, Kara suddenly turned around and started walking the other way. Daniel quickly ran back to the motel and got his bicycle and followed after her. Kara! Kara! But she continued on walking. Daniel tried to ride faster, but for some reason, he was having trouble keeping up with her. Kara, wait! Where was she going? How could she not hear him? Following her, Daniel soon reached near the lighthouse, where he saw Kara walk through the plants and shrubs into the swamp. Daniel dropped the bicycle and followed after her confused, his legs buried deep in mud. Kara, stop! Daniel ran fast through the plants, not knowing if he was even going in the right direction anymore. Until he suddenly froze, seeing Kara standing just a hand away from him. Kara, what are you doing here? You didn't return? No, I couldn't return. What happened? That night, after you left, I thought I would book a train ticket back home, but I needed a lift to the station, and I only had enough for the tickets. So I packed up and decided to walk there. It was raining heavily, and the streets were dark. I was walking down the empty road. But after a while, I started to feel like a car was following after me. When I looked back, I saw a minivan. There was a baby on board sign on the window. The car drove up to me and a couple pulled down the windows. Young woman, it's quite late. Where are you going? To the train station. I have a train to catch at 10 p.m. The station is only about 20 minutes drive from here. Get in, we'll drop you off. It's not safe to travel by foot here. They looked like a decent couple with a child, so I agreed. Okay, thank you so much. The woman got off from the front seat and allowed me in, while she sat back with her son. I'm Samuel, and this is my wife Lilith, and our son Damien. And you? I'm Kara. As the man drove, his wife sung to their child. But I could sense her looking at me the whole time. "You're not from here, are you? And you're so young. What are you doing here all alone?" "I actually came here with my boyfriend." "Oh, with your boyfriend? So you like to have fun?" "Yeah, she's a very naughty girl, right, Kara? You're a bad girl, aren't you?" I was creeped out by the way they were both smiling and staring at me. "I thought the station was 20 minutes away. We've been driving over an hour." "Are you getting worried?" "Don't worry, we also know how to have fun. How about the three of us have some fun tonight?" "Stop the car, I want to get off." When I tried unlocking the car, the man took out a knife and held it against my throat. "What happened? Are you scared to have fun now?" "You're going to come home with us. We'll make a good girl out of you." I didn't have a choice but to listen to them. They drove out far into the forest to Hither Hills and stopped at a cabin. It was the only cabin in miles on that hill. They took me into their home and bound me inside a wooden casket. There was but a small hole that allowed me to breathe. I felt so suffocated, but no matter how much I cried or screamed, they didn't listen to me. They kept me locked in there, only opening to give me water and food. Every time I retaliated, they put me back inside. When they finally allowed me out 2 weeks later, I begged to them, "Please, don't keep me in there, I can't breathe." But they put me back. That's how they wanted to subdue me. After another week locked in there, I was traumatized. I realized the only way they would allow me out was if I was complacent with them. "Eat this." "Yes, master, I will." "Good job. Now go lock yourself inside again." "Yes, master." After weeks of being obedient to their every command, doing every despicable action they asked of me, I started gaining their trust, and after 3 months, they allowed me to stay in a locked room. There I began to plan my escape. But the night I tried to flee out the window, they caught me. When I got shot in the leg, I couldn't run anymore. They brought me here and threw me out. Daniel listened to Kara in shock. "What do you mean, threw you out?" All of a sudden, Kara began to step back into the mud. Kara's feet began to sink, and she fell in the mucky water of the swamp. Daniel went to grab hold of her when he pulled up her body, floating in the mud. A putrid odor emanated from her, as Daniel realized he was holding her rotten cadaver. Horrified, Daniel ran out from the swamp. What had he just seen? He had to do something. He rode back to the motel that night, where Nicole was worried sick waiting for him. "Where did you go? I was searching for you everywhere." Daniel grabbed his pocket knife and hurried out again. "What are you going to do with that?" "Don't worry about it. Come on, get in the car." Nicole ran after him. "Where are we going?" "To Hither Hills." Daniel had noticed a lone cabin by the hilltops while driving here. He knew exactly where to go. It was 3 a.m. when they reached there. "Whose house is this?" "When I go in, call 911. "And say what?" "Say anything, just get them here." "Daniel, you're scaring me. What is going on?" "Just do as I say, Nicole." Daniel let out a deep breath as he walked up to the door and knocked. It was almost immediately that a couple opened the door and smiled at him. "Hello, young man. What do we owe this pleasant visit in the middle of the night?" "A female friend of mine told me she used to live with you two, and she lost something while she was here. She sent me to get it." "You must be mistaken. Me, my wife, and my child only live here." "Yes, I know. Damien." The couple looked at each other before they ushered Daniel inside. "Come in." As soon as Daniel got in, he started walking around the house, looking everywhere. "Now who is this female friend of yours, and what did she leave?" "She left her life." All of a sudden, a twisted smile appeared on both their faces. Daniel sensed Lilith grab onto something behind him. I have a feeling you two are going to lose what she lost. As Samuel laughed menacingly, Lilith charged at him from behind. But Daniel was quick and threw her down to the floor. I don't think so. Before Samuel could make a move, police sirens rung in the air and officers barged in the door. Daniel explained everything to them, after which a search was conducted in the cabin. Lilith yelled of her child, but there was no child in the house. Only a stuffed doll lay in her nursery. Another young woman was found bound in a casket in a locked room, along with possessions of those reported missing in the past years. Carol Adams' remains were discovered, and Samuel and Lilith were arrested and taken into custody, looking at a life sentence. It was near dawn when Daniel and Nicole returned to the motel. They walked out to the shore to finally catch a breath of air. I regretted that night for the past 10 years. I shouldn't have left her alone. If only I had brought her to the city. She never communicated with me after that, and I understood it was because she probably hated me. But that wasn't the reason why. She had been dead all along, and it was all because of me. I don't know if she'll ever forgive me. Everyone makes mistakes, Daniel. You were young, you're still short-tempered. At least after all these years, she can finally rest in peace because of you. I hope so. Bye, Daniel. Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon because you know it's interesting.